Some men, though, they don't just blame their wives for stuff that they've done. They'll blame anything for their shit behaviour. And this is something I've gotten into. It's pretty good. I'm someone who quite likes living well beyond his means. And for my entire adult life, everyone around me has just been telling me I'm a dickhead who can't budget. But it turns out I went and got myself diagnosed with something. So, like everything else in my life, it's quite clearly not my fault. I knew I was a victim of some description. And while I'm here too, I'm not going to sink it into mental illness. It's bloody, that's crazy. What no one's reiterating for me with mental illness, though, is how great it is for people like professional athletes and myself to just rebrand our irresponsible shit behaviour on something that is largely and conveniently intangible. Excluding, of course, your more visible mental illnesses such as bodybuilding. But the actual mental illness, though, it is a serious issue. It's not something to poke fun at. Mental illness is serious now. It's as serious now as it is popular. And while I'm not a practitioner, I've never really had the spare time, I have dabbled. And I, of course, sought treatment to find out exactly why the world hasn't provided me with everything I deserve. And along the way, I found out that I have never actually done anything wrong. Although pre-self-diagnosis, some of the things the black dog did on my behalf, Jesus Christ. If my condition allowed me to feel some form of shame or embarrassment, I'd be ashamed and embarrassed at what the black dog had done on my behalf. One time, the black dog didn't turn up to work for 2 months straight. I lost my job for that. There was no support network set up there for people like me who don't really like working. One time, right, the black dog sent some lewd photographs to the sister of a colleague of mine. She didn't want them, evidently. I got sacked for that, even after I explained that those photos came from a very dark place. My crotch. One time, right, I went down to the pub to blow the froth off an icy cold jar of suds on a hot night after a hard day's yakka. And while I was down there, the black dog has drunk 2 jugs of beer in quick succession and become quite belligerent. And he went up for his 3rd jug at the bar, and the bartender said, "Sir," which is historically the worst possible start to a sentence when addressing the black dog when he's had a skinful. He said, "Sir, why don't you make your 3rd jug a mid-strength?" To which the black dog replied, "Why don't you get fucked?" Do I look like a heavily pregnant woman to you? And then they booted me out on the street for that. At which point the black dog has busted 3 of my knuckles on a passing teenager's face. I didn't know the kid. The black dog must have had some history with him. And then society has decided to side with the 17-year-old boy with the broken jaw, leaving me to think, fucking hell, what about the real victim here? Me.
He was like, "You know what's wrong with you, mate?" He went, "You've got imposter syndrome." Right? Have we heard this? Because it used to be, if you were shite at something, rightfully, you were ashamed of yourself, right? But, don't let lack of talent hold you back now. But I'll be honest, I was quite excited when I found out that I had imposter syndrome, right? And I was like, this could be good for the brand, shift a few tickets, I was excited. Plus, I'll be honest, I thought, maybe I can get myself a disabled parking badge here. Because I live in the centre of Edinburgh, fucking nightmare trying to get parked through there. I went down to the DVLA office, right? I went in, the guy was like, "What exactly is the condition that you have?" And I went, "Oh, buddy, I'm actually struggling right now with imposter syndrome." He went, "And you think that entitles you to a disabled parking badge, do you?" And I went, "Well, to be honest, mate, now that you've put it like that, I kind of feel like I don't even deserve to be here." And he went, "Connor, this is one of the worst cases I've ever seen. You park wherever you want, son."
LA, it's very exciting. It's Hollywood. You step off the plane, you see like a celebrity, you see the Hollywood sign, people with anorexia, and it's very exciting. And I always think, I get there, I'm like, oh, I'm getting discovered. I'm just gonna be standing in line at McDonald's and someone is gonna be like, "You're discovered." Next thing I know, I'm like having anal with Vince Vaughn. But when I tell you, that's literally never happened to me. So it's like every trip is a disappointment for normal people. Like we always think it's like, oh my God, is this how my dream starts? No, the craziest thing that happens to regular people in LA is like we try vegan food for the first time, you know? And we end up with diarrhea. Or did we get diarrhea from having too much anal with Vince Vaughn? Makes you think.
The truth is, if you really think about it, the only thing white people who came to this country ever discovered were trusting people. But anyway, gobble gobble, happy Thanksgiving. We're moving on. So, but we talk like this. They came here like, whoa, 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 and we talk like this. How did that happen? Well, I'm glad you asked. I was looking it up, and there is a theory that it was just a decision that they made. That they just decided to do it. Which is an amazing moment in history. One day, two old dusty white dudes are hanging out. One of them's just like, "Winthrop, may I bend your ear for a moment?" He's like, "Why, yes, Phillips, what is it?" He's like, "Well, I just had a thought on how we could further separate ourselves from the British if we desired to do so." He's like, "Well, of course we desire to do so. We made the big move." He's like, "Well, I was thinking, what if we were to just talk entirely differently?" Talk entirely differently? Whatever do you mean? He goes, "Well, instead of talking like this as we're ought to do," I was just thinking, you know, what if we were to just, you know, talk like this? Hello? And he goes, "What have you done there? You've got the devil's tongue. Shing." And he's like, "No, it's still me. It's still me." He's like, "Oh, yes, shing." I like that. We're Americans. We talk differently. "When did you have time to come up with something this brilliant?" He's like, "Well, I just made time in my schedule." "Ah, yes, you mean schedule." "No, I mean schedule." "No, you mean shell." "Wow, okay, wow. I see what you've done there. Now, don't hate it.
Your first 10 birthdays just cutting into an onion. Can't let it. It's bleak. Then immigration begins in earnest. The Irish come over. And we're like, "Well, hang on. We've already got potatoes, so what are you bringing to the table? Have you tried Guinness?" "Fair play. Here you come. What is it? What is it? Is it Marmite? Is it milk?" "I love it." Don't know what it is. Love it. Then people from India came. Introduced the British to flavour. The concept of flavour. Spice that's not black pepper. Incredible.
My wife requested the epidural the day she found out she was pregnant. She's like, "You plug that thing in, leave it in there till he graduates high school. I want to buzz the whole way through." People give you advice as well. All my male friends, my proper, men friends, gave me a lot of man advice. They couldn't even say pregnancy terms, by the way. They couldn't say pregnant or labour or birth. They had to use man terms like, "Oh, so I heard Lucy's up the duff. She must be in the drop zone. How long till launch?" Hey, we're not working on a spaceship.
You know what else I used to look up to, right? I used to look up to other people's dads. Because my dad was a great bloke. I thought everyone's dad must be a great bloke. It's just going to work out. Didn't work out at all. I became a dad, and I figured out it doesn't take that much to become one. Now, it's almost as if they let any old fuckwit become a dad now. It's amazing. There's a dad who's got kids at my kid's school, right, and he's a cool dad. I can't stand cool dads. I am just having a second pop at you, cruising around trying to elicit high fives from kids, that sort of shit. It's contemptible. This guy, right, he's one of these guys. He's in his 40s and he's got fashion hair. And not that reverse sideburn look you sometimes see on the modern youth. No. He's got spiked up hair. All the way around, spiked up hair. And he's tall, but not tall enough for me not to know what's going on up there. Just looks like a fenced off slice of Devon. Honestly. And all the other parents there at school pick-up time, they're largely mothers, so they're not tall enough to see what's going on, but I know. Like, oh, leave him alone. He's a bloody great bloke. He's just a square peg. He's a special ray of sunshine in an otherwise flavourless world. He's amazing. For bullshit. I can't stand this prick. He's a loser. He's trying to negate something shit going on in his life. You'll see. And most parents, right, who are resigned to the natural ageing process, when you turn up at school time to pick up your kids, you just turn up and through gritted teeth go, get in the fucking car, you little thing. Cool dad, because he's cool dad. He comes flying through the front gates on a skateboard, doing that shaky telephone symbol on his way in. And this thing, right, that's fine if you're an actual skater on your commute between acts of vandalism and petty crime. Or maybe it's all right if you're fresh off a mid-flight brawl and you've been zip-tied to C-38G and you're posing for a photo with one of your mates doing the double, the Gold Coast Denpasar salute. Or as it's better known in the media, the Jetstar jiggle. While I'm down here too, I'm not going to be one of those comedians who rips into Bali. Heaps do that. It's too much. But Bali's fine. Like, statistically, about a third of you make multiple trips to Bali. And I'm not here to judge you filthy fucking pigs. That's not my bag of chips. But when you're going to Bali, just remember who you're talking to when you announce your trip to Bali. I work with this bloke, and he says that he goes to Bali by himself a fair bit, which should raise eyebrows on its own merits. But when he sees he's going, he says, oh, no, I'm going to Bali, but I'm going to the nice part. I go to the beautiful part. I don't go to that shit part where there's Aussies bashing each other on the beach and there's chip packets and Band-Aids floating around the ocean. Yuck. No, that's disgusting. I go to the beautiful part. You wouldn't believe it. It's just over the hill. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's just full of and spirituality and noticeably less dogs on the dance floor. And if you're lucky, in the beautiful part, you'll bump into some of those perverts who've had to relocate their businesses from the hinterland areas of Australia over to a country where collecting vulnerable women is slightly less frowned upon. So, yeah, slippery old slope yoga, isn't it? But that's it. With yoga, right, 1 minute you're in a beautiful Byron Bay studio just down-dogging and you look over your shoulder and the yoga instructor's back there tucking his stiff into the sash of his caftan. And you go, that's fine, it's probably just an isolated incident. And the next minute you're in an exclusive holistic femaleness retreat in Bali in a remote location, just getting invited to the guru's special gazebo of oneness to sweep it out and administer his daily perineum massage. And that's the nice part of Bali. I'd rather be down in Kuta getting a half stub of your bin tank smashed across the back of my fucking head any day. It's one of those places too where men come back, right? This guy I work with, he came back from his latest trip to Bali and he said, look, I've been to Bali again. I brought back a little souvenir. I go, man, that sounds sus, man. Souvenirs are fine, but when you say little souvenir, we're not talking about a snow dome or a fridge magnet, are we? No. You've gone and got yourself another cluster of boils around the base of your tockley, haven't you, filthy animal? He said, no, nothing like that. And how dare you, one of my oldest and closest friends, judged me based only on the cliche that I've been to Southeast Asia by myself. Again. Particularly galling in front of my new fiancée here, whose anglicised name is Little Souvenir. So this thing, right, that's fine in those situations. But the Ridgy Dish, that's got no business at school pickup. I saw Cool Dad, right. This fucking hacky sack owner he was at a kid's party in a public park. It was one of those parties where they'd set up a slack line, which is a ratchet strap that the moderns put between two trees to act as a handy trip hazard for people like me. And the kids can try to balance on it. It's a good time, whatever. But Cool Dad, because he's Cool Dad, he had to go himself. And right in front of everyone, he's attempted a backflip dismount and ended up with one leg either side of the thing. Which most men on their better late than never path to maturity would see doing your nuts on a truck strap as a watershed moment. But not this poon. No way. He's one of these guys who says things like, oh, age is just a number. Well, yeah, well, so's bone density, you fuckstick. So, last time I saw this negligent parent, he was down at a trampoline centre. I don't know if any of you have one near your houses, but there's a trampoline centre near where I live. And it's trampoline centres. It's a place you can take your kids and they can just rattle their brains about for 5 or 6 hours in a row under what must be said is very lax supervision. And then you just take them home, put them to bed, hope they wake up. I was down there, right, and I saw Cool Dad then. Because he's Cool Dad, he got himself a wristband and had a go himself while his kids were on there. It was just heaps of kids and Cool Dad double bouncing and having a bloody great time. And after only 10 minutes of frolicking, I heard that scream, that horrible scream you only ever hear from children when they're thinking, shit, we should have got ourselves a more appropriate hero in our lives. One more in touch with his ageing physical limitations, such as our new stepfather, Daryl. Because Cool Dad, he was being wheeled onto an ambulance with a compressed spine and a broken nose inflicted by his own knee. And he's in quite a lot of pain. He had his hands on his head there, and he had to take one of them off to show us that he's all right. Causing everyone else to see what was going on up there. And then they knew what I already knew. The Cool Dads are no good fucking losers. Just trying to hide their baldness one way or another.
I definitely found it strange being raised by English people in America. Like, immigrant parents raise you with sort of weird traditions, but the more I travel the country and talk to people, the more I realize it wasn't that my parents were immigrants. It's just parents. Parents just give you fill your head with weird shit, and then you become a grown-up, and then you're out there like, yeah, we used to do this, and people are like, what? And you're like, yeah, my house has like a tradition. And they're like, that's like borderline abuse. You're like, it's not abuse, it's tradition. It's a tradition. This one guy, I was talking to him, and he was like, his family didn't celebrate any holidays, except for one that they celebrated twice a year. And you, like me, are probably like, what holidays twice a year? Well, you're not gonna figure it out. Because it in no way is a holiday. His family went big for daylight savings. Big day for them. They spent food out, they had drinks, people over, revelry. It was an event. He was at school day of, like, y'all excited? It's Daylight's Eve. Spring ahead, my favorite of the two, bitches. I don't even know how that works. You gotta stay up till 2 a.m., you're having a good time, and then at 2 you have it again, I guess? I'm not sure. Or then it's 4 a.m. and you feel like you just did blow with your family. You're like, what are we doing? This is weird, everybody. I had a woman at my show. She told me about how her and her sisters would always get their hair cut from their grandma all through their youth, which I thought was pretty sweet. It was like a family tradition. Then the grandmother passed away, and they were cleaning out her place, and they discovered that she'd kept all that hair, all of their childhood hair, in a set of drawers she hid in the closet, or as I call it, the hairdresser. I love that one, though. That's the best. That's the best. Dying with that leave behind. You just have you're like, Grandma, why? She's like, bye-bye, bye. You're like, why were you doing it? She's like, you might not figure it out, ta-ta. She's like, what was the hair? Maybe I was putting it in pillows. You'll never know. I'm gone, I'm vapor. But my favorite one was I was at a show and I was like, anyone got any weird traditions? And this guy goes, I got one, birthday chicken. I was like, sir, you talk until you're done. Get him a microphone. What did you just say in a room of people? Birthday chicken? I was like, what is birthday chicken? And birthday chicken, it turns out, was in his family, they invented like a birthday Santa. The birthday chicken. Sort of this mythical, generous fowl whom he believed to be real. So every year on his birthday, he'd get gifts from his friends and family, but then he'd get one extra gift from the birthday chicken. He thought it was totally normal, right? Then he gets a little bit older, goes through the reveal that we all went through. Granted, his was a little different than ours. There was an addition. It was like, there's no tooth fairy, there's no Santa, there's no birthday chicken. He's like, I'm gonna need a minute. Santa I saw coming, but birthday chicken? Who is eating all the feed we put in the living room? Dad? Oh my God. Then he gets a little bit older, he goes to high school, gets his license, goes to prom, goes to college. First semester, freshman year at college, in his dorm, it's his roommate's birthday. And he's like, his parents live far away. They might not have time to get him a birthday chicken gift. I'll do it. Because what I failed to tell you is what they failed to tell him. That they were the only people that did it. See, he knew it was bullshit. He just didn't know that it was only his family's bullshit and that they'd invented the bullshit. That part never got revealed. So he's just handing this seeming stranger a gift with a card, and this dude just opens it and he's like, love birthday chicken. And that's you. Thank you, birthday chicken. I love my sweater. Anyone have anything like that you can think of, like little child? Granted, birthday chicken sets a high bar, obviously. Yeah, what do you got?
My parents sent me a letter from Santa saying he wasn't going to come visit anymore.
What? Fucking amazing. Oh, my Lord. Dear Bradley, I hope this letter finds you well. It won't soon. You're still a nice boy, but I'm done with you. What? What did the letter say?
It was just like, it's time for us to part.
So your parents were like, first of all, I'm 90% one of your parents is a lawyer. They're like, legally, if we get this notarized, we're in the clear. He cannot sue us in the future. So then you have the illusion that Santa's real, but he's just done with you specifically, which is almost worse. Because kids are like, what did Santa get you? And you're like, Santa and I aren't doing that anymore. I've got a lead on a birthday chicken, which is actually... That's great. It's just a lot of kids, and you're not one of my favorites. Santa sent me a restraining order. Yeah, look, you were being an asshole to him. He said no more. Oh, man, now I want to have kids just to do that. That's like... I'm gonna burn my rubbers to be like, I'm gonna fuck with this kid. Be like... Here's mine. This is my family tradition. My family, when I was growing up, I'd go to England, they would make us share bath water. Yeah. That was like, I was raised to believe that was totally normal to share bath water with relatives. I can't explain it, you know? A lot of people won't take baths because they're like, ooh, gross, that's your own filth, right? My own filth to me as a child would have been a dream. A dream. I'd look at a bath of my own filth the way a gruel-filled orphan would look through a rich person's foggy window at a Christmas goose. Just like, me own filth? Gosh, someday, maybe. Imagine. Me own filth, you know. It's crazy. It would be like my aunts, my female cousins, they'd all share one bath, then they'd drain it, they'd do the great refilling, and then it was man time. And let me point out, this is PMS, pre-manscaping, a much bushier era, okay? And it would be like 9, 10 dudes I'd be following, grown-ass men. I was a child. But I didn't think it was weird. It was the prison I was born into. But by the time it got to me, it didn't even look like bathwater anymore. It just looked like ramen at that point. It was just like, ugh. It was the consistency of like cold sake by the time it got to me. You know what I mean? And then I just had to get in. I just had to put myself into this human soup, this dude stew, this minestrone, this guy spaccio. I'd go in there, a 7-year-old nubile boy, take a skunk dunk and come out of there covered in so many hairs of various lengths and curls I'd look like a Grecian man at a nude beach, just like, let's do this, you know? Bonkers. My uncle come over, he'd take the hair off me, give it to grandma, obviously. It was for her. It was caring is caring. Caring is caring. They did everything earlier in England. Like, they corrupted as youths much earlier in England. You'd see like an 8-year-old smoke, you'd be like, that's crazy. I'd be like, got a problem, copper? You'd be like, I'm 9, so you need to pump the brakes over there, first of all. Sex was earlier. I remember I was 12 years old and my friend was like, mate, you still a virgin? I was like, yeah, I'm still a virgin. What are you I'm 12 years old. He was like, don't worry, it'll happen. I was like, I don't want it to happen, okay? I am a little boy, all right? This is not chest hair. These are my uncle's pubes. I took a bath earlier. I'm a kid, bro. Weed was earlier too. Weed, yeah, 12, 13 was when we started smoking weed there. The way we smoked weed there was different than how we smoked weed here, though. The way I learned to get high in England was through what they call rising blowbacks. Now, I know it sounds weird, but it's just when your buddy sucks your dick in a hot air balloon. That's all it is. It says, guys, it's European. It's like pastries for breakfast. It's their way. It is their way. No, what it is someone takes a joint, right? Someone takes a couple hits off the joint, puts the lid end in their mouth, and blows through the back. Then you suck that in. Then someone picks you up by your sternum till your feet are off the ground, lowering your oxygen levels. And by the time your feet hit the ground again, you are real high, real high. So imagine the first time in the States when someone wanted to smoke with me. You know, like, you want to get baked? I was like, well, yeah, but we're going to need to get a few more fellas over here, Chad. I mean, we'll hurt our backs. So one of the first times I got high, it's probably like first 3 times I got high, it was late at night, everything's closed, and we're hanging out in front of the store. And I'm just laughing my ass off. We're having a good little time, you know, and I'm just laughing. I tap the store window. Nothing aggressive, just give it a little tap. And my friend Richard goes, "Don't, Gareth, you lima guaf." And I go, "Don't call me a lima guaf." And everybody laughed. But they didn't laugh when he said it. They laughed when I said it. And I wanted to know what was going on, but I couldn't ask because I was high. So I was just like, "Ha, yeah, you don't call me a lima guaf." "What is it?" "Never mind." But I wish I'd asked, because it became like a nickname. People started calling me Lima Guaf. Yeah, for years. People, you know, I'd get into town, people would be like, "Hey, Lima Guaf's here." I'd be like, "You're damn right I am. That's me. I'm him." They'd be like, "You all right, Lima Guaf?" I'd be like, "Doing good." Little confused still, but good. Lima Guaf's good. Years went on, till one night I was at a party. And my cousin introduces me to a guy who was there that night. And he goes, no, I remember you, you're Lama Guaf. I was like, yeah. So then I waited until I had a moment, and I cornered him. I had to know. And I go, "Hey, why was that so funny?" He goes, "What was what funny, Lama Guaf?" I said, "Why was it so funny when I said, don't call me a Lima Guaf?" He said, "Well, because you hit the shop window, and Richard said, don't, Gareth, the alarm will go off." And... you said, don't call me a Lima Guaf. I was like, well, that is funny. Now that I hear it back, that's pretty good, honestly. That's pretty good weed, too. Well, good to catch up. Hope you're well. Lima Guaf out. I'll see ya. Thank you. Together? Yeah. How'd you meet? Tinder, nice. How long you been together?
4 years.
4, fucking A, that's pretty good. Yeah. About half the room cares. She's excited. Anyone got a weird way of meeting? Who's a couple who's got a weird way? What do you got back there? Go ahead.
We met at a festival in Eastern Oregon, like a small, less than 2,000 people festival, serving bar at Clown Night with clown noses on.
You met at Clown Night? Yeah, okay, relax. Quit acting like I'm the crazy one. Like, yeah, we said that. Clown Night, dumbass. We met at Clown Night. And then you have noses on at clown night? Yeah. Yeah, duh! What do you think makes it clown night, stupid man? Can you imagine walking into a clown bar? I don't know if there's I would make a U-turn so fast. I'd be like, we need to get the fuck out of here. They'd be like, trivia night? Worse, run. Start that car. People loved you? Yeah, well, lots of people think that and they're wrong. That happens all the time. People loved us. We were loud. How long ago was that?
3 years.
No, sir, I'm far, but I'm not like in another city. A trained actor. 3 years! 3 years next March! You are a clown? You're still a clown? Huh? You got it on now?
It took a second. I had to get the bar through it. I'm sorry.
You had to get the bar through it? Is it like a barbell for your nose? Is this like a Saw movie?
Is this a show? Who has life?
Oh, my lord. This is like feeding an animal that won't leave you alone. This is like, where you're like, all right, go. Get the fuck out of here. I put out milk one night. I'm not your daddy. I have a cat. I can't have more. We can't have more than one clown in this room, and I'm the clown. Sir, I almost want you to keep going so I can actually shout at one of my shows, get that clown the fuck out of here.
No, you want to marry someone who makes you a better person. That's what my wife does. I really wanted to get in shape for the big day, get in shape. So I was going to the gym a lot. And I remember a week before the wedding, I got chatting to this guy in the steam room of my gym who had this amazing life, right? He said he was married to a woman in Australia for 16 years, but then he realised that he was gay, and he told his wife, who let him go in this beautiful moment of tolerance, acceptance, and now he lives as a gay man in the UK. And I was like, well, that's a great story, but quite selfishly, I'm getting married in a week. Quick question. You didn't know you were gay for 16 years? He's like, yeah, I didn't know at the time, but it makes sense now that I was. And I'm like, yeah, it's great and all, but I'm about to buy 130 people dinner. I mean, that's an expensive mistake, you know. I want to know. You didn't know for 16 years? He's like, yeah, I didn't know at the time, but it makes sense now that I totally was. Amazing, isn't it? 16 years of sort of tricks that the mind can play. Anyway, so I'm blowing this guy in the steam room, right? And I'm trying to work out why my eyes are watering, you know, just the Bulbasaur, it's hard to tell. And I'll let him finish because it's Pride Month, you know, you've got to support minorities, and that's how they get you. But the real reason I was excited to get married was that as a comedian, now I've been doing comedy for sort of 12 years, and what little name I have is based around doing big issues, cultural, social commentary, but increasingly it's a febrile atmosphere. It's subject to op-eds in newspapers. What can't they say? Should comedians only joke about things they've experienced? And, well, I was just excited to get a wife, and she's my wife. I'll say whatever the fuck I want, and you can just deal with it, you know? So I thought as a loving tribute, I'd base the show around the old growler. Last lockdown, the wife and I decided to try for a baby because there was nothing else to do. And by that point, I think we both just wanted someone else to talk to. And listen, look, I like a bit of rough and tumble as much as the next man, but trying for a baby is too much fucking. I never want to have sex again. Chop it off, I'm done. You've got to do it every night when you're trying, for months. And let me tell you, supply could not keep up with demand. You understand? I was squeezed dry like the husk of a lemon, nothing left. I was coming pith by night 4. You understand? You know what I'm talking about, old boy. Now, I feel your pain. People in here might think I'm boasting. I'm not boasting. It's not sex. It's procreation. That's a different thing. Newer couples in here might have sex where you light some candles, have a bit of wine, take some time to set the atmosphere, create the mood. This is how my wife and I would start our procreation sessions. First things first, she'd check the spreadsheet, make sure she's ovulating. Lord knows we wouldn't want to fuck on a whim. Then she'd shove a thermometer up herself like a big old Christmas goose. And finally, she'd lean over and whisper something romantic into my ear like, I can't even be bothered to try and come, just fire a load off and let's go to sleep. Now, straight men in the audience, you'll understand my problem. My entire sexual career has been based on the concept of holding back your own pleasure, give the poor girl a chance, right? I mean, that's very much all of our tactic, really, isn't it, lads? Doesn't matter how slick you think you're being, like, oh, you like that? Who's your daddy? Oh, I've got to move. Inwardly, we're all going, nah, hold. Name every cabinet minister. We like to do little quizzes, little lateral thinking puzzles to distract ourselves in the heat of the moment. But when you're procreating, the pressure's not on not coming, the pressure's on coming. It's the only reason you're fucking. It's like a heist. You've got to get in, get out. But the pressure got too much. I couldn't finish. And so it just went on for hours, back, forth. It was like Nadal, Federer, you know, just fuck, when's it gonna end? Sand coming out there. Grim. God, it was so much fucking. At one point, my wife was like, look, I know it's been a lot of sex for you recently, so why don't I start tonight off with a blowjob? And I genuinely replied, can't we just read? The noise I make now when I do eventually climax, holy mackerel, it's bleak. I swear it used to be excitement, adrenaline, kind of vigour, but now, you know the noise that maybe your elderly relatives would make when they've eaten their Sunday dinner a bit too quickly, and they make this weird kind of internal burp noise that gets caught in the throat, you know, the kind of, that's the noise I make now. Love you, okay. Going to go to the petrol station, get some Gaviscon. See you later. Friends say you got to spice things up, and they're right, of course. That's what you do when you.
25 is a great age, by the way. It's a good age. I got a brother. He's 28. It's pretty cool. Big difference, though, between the younger people and me, is that I was bullied relentlessly. My brother did not experience this fate. I say bullied. It was more just like low-key sexual assault. It was a lot of like wrapping your dick around your wrist and asking a slow kid what time it is. He can't read a regular clock. Don't hit him with a dick clock. Another cool one was you'd take your ball bag, put it on top of your buddy's hat, you know. I like your yarmulke, you know. That was a good one. The worst one for sure was this game called Warm Up My Face. You sound like you played that game. That's the laugh of a victim. I would ask you if you ever played, but I don't want you to have a seizure, sir, so. I don't want your fucking brain to pop. You're right to leave, I understand. Yeah, Warm Up My Face went like this. There was a bigger boy named Wyatt Mays, and he would come up to me in school and he'd be like, Sam, your face looks pretty cold. And I would say, who fucking told you that? My face is an adequate temperature, Wyatt. And he would say, I don't know, man, looks pretty cold to me. And I would say, I will swear on any book you call holy. It is warm, Wyatt. And as I was begging and pleading, another kid named Anthony would kneel behind me, and Wyatt would shove me over him. As I was laying on my back, Wyatt would pull his pants down and sit on my face. Oh yeah, he was quite cunning, this Wyatt. He was an improviser. And then he would say, I bet your face is warm now. And I would say, because I was wearing a boy as a mask. So I suffered that. All right, but the young people, you guys had to deal with a whole different American calamity, which is the deeply American problem of the school shooting. You had to live in fear of that. You know, just fucking go with me. Chill, all right? I was bullied. You had to live in fear of the school shootings. You know, big difference. I will say this, though. School shootings are a pretty effective means of bullying. It's pretty efficient, really. Wyatt only had one butt. Imagine if he had a gun that shot 15 butts a second. He could have warmed up a lot of faces. See, it's a butt joke, everyone. Don't worry, it's okay. I never envied you guys. One time I envied your situation. Because in 6th grade, I was on a field trip to the Denver Art Museum, and I was in the Gifted and Talented program, so I had to give a speech on a Picasso painting. And I had to, like, explain what the stars represented. And as I was up there boring my entire class, another kid Jesse came up behind me and pulled down my basketball shorts. And I was 5'10", you know, fucking 220 pounds, 11 years old. So it was adult body baby penis. And this was pre 9/11, so there was no cloud cover. It was just full pig snout right there. As I was standing up there exposed to my entire class, I would have much rather been shot in the fucking head. That would have been a mercy killing. Because now I'm labeled, you know, adult body baby penis. That's all I am. Forever, I'm baby penis Sam. And even like if I'm shot later in a school shooting, they're not going to remember me as friend to all Sam Tallent. They're going to be like, oh, did you hear about Sam? No, what happened? Oh, he was shot in that school shooting. Oh. Wait, baby dick Sam? Oh, it's too bad. Where was he shot? Definitely not the dick. The shooter didn't have a scope on that thing. He wasn't a sniper. So, yes, that's a difficult joke to tell. But hey, I'm from Colorado. We kind of invented it, so it's okay, all right?